Never share your dream with non-dreamers. And the reason being, they may not understand it, they will frustrate it, they will confuse it, they can pursue you, and they can even what? Kill you.
Come on, everybody, get on your feet today. How many of you serve a big God? How many of you serve a big God? Can I hear you shout in this place?
Today, I want to ask you a very important question. The question has to do with dreams. Do you have a dream? If you have a dream, then I'll encourage you, don't let your dream die. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a dream that has occupied your mind that you have not forgotten? Number two, have you had a dream that has kept your imagination so active no matter what you do? And number three, have you had a dream that has kept you awake all night in spite of your tiredness? That this dream keeps you so awake and makes you think of things outside the realm of possibility. If you have that, then I can call you a dreamer. Let me also ask you another question. Have you had a reoccurrence dream? You've had it for months, for years, and you can't shake it. And if that is the case, then every dream that you may have had, that dream is significant. No dream is insignificant. Every dream is significant. When a dream preoccupies you, and a dream keeps you awake, and a dreams follow you, no matter what you do, that means there's something that is very important about this dream that you have to take note of. When we talk about dream, we are talking about something that holds your heart, grabs your life, for which you are willing to die for. Those who carry dreams cannot die separate from the dream. They are motivated, they are driven, they are led by this dream. Because every dream has the ability to make you live or make you die. If you have a dream, or when you understand that you have a dream, and this thing gets you going in the morning, this thing gets you inspired in the day, this thing gets you excited, that means it's a vision or a dream that is here to stay. Let me tell you a story and bring it to everyday term. And this is a true story. It's about a 17-year-old millennial who rather live for his dream than die without it. He's just 17 years old. His name was Joe. His parents happened to live in a foreign country, and they work in the livestock industry. His father had other wives, and in their culture, they practiced polygamy, and that was understandable in those days. So he, being the son of the youngest wife, brought some tension amongst his brethren. You can understand that there was a virus, not the coronavirus as we know today, but it's a virus that still runs rampant throughout the world. It is called jealous virus. This jealous virus can kill. It's just as potent and it's just as dangerous as the coronavirus that we all concerned about today. It is amongst his family. His family had this problem, being the youngest and one that is often loved, and also one that the father talked about, created difficult and challenging times for this young man we call Joe. In fact, he was nicknamed Joe the Daydreamer. Now, that did not bother him because he couldn't help himself. There's a dream that took hold of his life. And this dream was so strong that everything he did was directed by the dream. Let me share with you a story about this young man, Joe, that I mentioned. But we can find him in a very important book called the Bible, Genesis chapter 37. I want to read from verse 5 through verse 10, and I want you to follow me closely and just let's digest what happened in this young man's life. It says, now Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him evermore. You see, people who don't understand dreams, when you share dreams with them, they will either hate you or laugh at you. They will either hate you or make fun of you. They will either love you and support your dream, or they will try to make sure that you are reduced to nothing. When he told his brothers the dreams, the Bible says that they hated him even more. So he said to them, please hear this dream which I have dreamt. There we were, according to his dream, burning sheaves in the field. Then behold, my sheep arose and also stood upright. And indeed, your sheaves stood all around and bowed to my sheep. And his brothers said to him, shall you indeed reign over us? You mean yours stood upright and ours bow to yours? So you mean you're going to rule over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? They took it further. Are you going to rule over us? Or are you going to literally control us? Take dominion, control over our lives in every aspect of it. That was not what he said. And that was not what his dream meant. He just said, I saw that my sheep was upright and yours had burned down to my sheep. Because they didn't have interpretation, they responded with their imagination. And this went further, and he says, so they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. He was a dreamer, constantly dreaming, coming up with his dreams. He couldn't help it but to share what was happening to him. It was so much for a young man to carry. He felt he could have people to share this dream with who may at least come alongside, support, advise, or literally empower him within his dream. The Bible says, then he dreamt still another dream and told it to his brothers and said, look, I have dreamed another dream. And this time the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars bow down to me. So he told it to his father and his brothers, and his father rebuked him and said to him, what is the dream that you've dreamed? Shall your mother and I and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? And his brothers this time didn't hate him, but they envied him. But his father kept the matter in mind. He just took note of it. Now, Joseph was just trying to be honest with them and share with them what is in his heart. And it's really to tell you that as sincere as you may be, you may have dreams in your heart, but at times you may share the dream at the wrong time with the right people who are supposed to undergird you or support you. He's the youngest. He had father, he had mother, he loved and admired. And there's no way in a million years that he will expect his father and mother to bow to him. He had brothers he looked up to. He was a baby. And after all, babies learn from their older siblings. Why will he arrogantly say to them, you're going to serve me? That was not his intention. But the dream that he had was not a dream to be interpreted for the present. It's a dream which has a future significance. They envied him. Your dream can attract envy. Your dream, your vision, your aspiration can attract envy. Not everyone is going to like your dream, and not everyone will speak kindly of your dream. These are words coming from his parents. You mean we're going to serve you too? And these are the expressions of his brothers. This guy is taking this too far. Not only do we have to hate him, but let's make sure we have nothing to do with him. I know you know the story. Eventually, his brothers came up and devised a way, and they auctioned him off to the visible bidder. He was bought, he was taken into slavery, but the intention was not to start as a slave, but to work for the one who purchased him. But there were events, there were situations that occurred without his control, but schemed against him, which eventually landed him in trouble. He was feeling it because he found himself in solitary confinement. I would say in prison. But let's look at what happened to him whilst he was in prison. A boy that is loved by his parents, but yet his dreams got him into trouble. Now his brothers envied him, auctioned him off, and went back and told the father that, listen, this is what has happened to your son. So for many years, the father had grieved for Joe. What has happened to my son, Joe? And as you know, when a person goes to war and they are kept captive, and news come to family that your son or your daughter that went to the army, that served the country or served the interest of our people, is not coming back. And family begin to wonder, what happened? What is happening? What's the cause? Is he alive or is he dead? If he's dead, just bring us his bones. At least we will be able to experience comfort because our loved one has been brought to us. That's not the case with Job. Father didn't hear good news. And for many years, he grieved for his little son. He grieved for his baby. The brothers, I believe, by this time have moved on. Because dream killers, when they attack your dream, they don't live to regret. They move on to the next dreamer to kill. That's what happens. But I'm saying to you, if you have a dream, hold on to it and don't let the dream die. Now, as we read Genesis, let's look at chapter 40, and let me share with you something that really happened also from verse 1 to 8. Whilst he was in prison, of course, he went from Potiphar's house, to prison. And whilst he was in prison, he was asked to serve Pharaoh's cupbearer and also baker. Let's get what happened here. It came to pass after these things that the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their lord, which is the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was angry with his two officers, the chief butler, which is a cupbearer, and the chief baker. So he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the prison, the place where Joseph or Joe was confined. And listen very carefully to verse 4. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, so they were in custody for a while. Then the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the prison, had a dream. Both of them. Each man's dream is one night, and each one's dream with his own interpretation. And Joseph came in to them in the morning and looked at them and saw that they were sad because he was attending to them. He served them. They were officers of the king. Now, because they've been thrown into prison, he had to serve them. And when he came in here, he saw that they were not happy. What is the cause? They all have dreamt, and they could not understand the dream. So the word came to Joseph by the expression, something is wrong. Find out, inquire. And when he inquired, they made him aware of this by saying, we each had a dream, and there is no interpretation of it. So Joseph said to them, do not interpretations belongs to God? Tell them to me, please. He made a very profound statement. He says, doesn't interpretation belongs to God? Tell me, please. In other words, maybe you may not know how to talk to God directly, or maybe you may not know the God that I serve. But I serve a God, and I believe this God has everything under control. He's got the whole world in his hands, and he knows everything. So if you've had a dream, at least tell me, because he's my God. I may ask him to help you with interpretation. You may be going through some challenges, and you may have dreams, and you may not know how to interpret the dream. I'm saying to you today, tell me, and I'll tell our God, who gives interpretation of dreams, and maybe you'll be helped by the answer that you get. You may have a dream this morning. You may have a dream today. You may have a dream, and you may have had a dream for years for which you're looking for interpretation. Some things are happening in your life, some things are occurring around you, and you really want some answers, and you don't know which way to turn. You don't know who to ask, how to ask. But I'm saying to you, whilst you are watching this program, whilst we are engaging, if you can just for a moment whisper the dream, maybe an angel of the Lord will answer you, or maybe a little bird will pronounce your dream to God, and God will give you the answer. You see, they were concerned about their dream. They needed interpretation. That tells me that every dream that you have has its equal interpretation. The fact that your dream has not been interpreted doesn't mean your dream is dead or your dream has no value. Every dream is significant. You have a dream. God, who understands dreams, understands the past, the present, and the future, will give you the answer to your dream. So I'm here to say to you that if you don't even know how to interpret the dream, still don't let the dream die, because the dream is very significant. They said, we have this dream and we have no interpretation for it. And he's told them, do not interpretation belongs to God. Tell them to me, please. Tell them to me, please. Now, he's a dreamer himself. So it takes a dreamer to identify a dreamer. When you find the right dreamer, no matter your difficulties, a right dreamer will try to help you to interpret your dream. That is why you have to actually be looking for dreamers. Walk with dreamers. Talk to dreamers. Share with dreamers. Eat with dreamers. Support dreamers. Build other people's dream. And your dream will also be supported and built. May I say this to you? Never share your dream with non-dreamers. Never share your dream with non-dreamers. And the reason being, they may not understand it. They will frustrate it. They will confuse it. They can pursue you, and they can even what? Kill you. But when you find a true dreamer, they would inspire you to dream even bigger. Never share your dream with those who don't believe in dreams. Never share your dream with those who don't believe in dreams. If you share your dream with those who don't believe in dreams, they will make sure that the consequent dreams that you have will be questioned before they land in your thoughts. Never allow your dream to be shattered by those whose imagination reduces your dream. Number two, I want you to understand something. You see, this young man who is the chief butler and also the baker, the chief baker for the king, who had offended the king, they were in prison. So Joseph, by this time, had served them for 2 years. 2 years. But whilst he was with them in prison, the word came and the butler was released. The chief butler was released. Because the dream that he gave was the accurate interpretation. I mean, the interpretation he gave to the dream was exactly what he needed and was exactly that which set him free. So 2 years later, Pharaoh had a dream. And the Bible tells us that he needed interpretation so desperately. The cupbearer that Joseph served whilst he was in prison and helped with the interpretation of his dream remembered and told King Pharaoh. And he said, Pharaoh, Let me tell you something about a young Hebrew millennial that I found whilst I was in prison. This young man was able to help me with the interpretation of my dream. So here again, Pharaoh has also had a dream, and Pharaoh needs help. Joseph, a dreamer, he got into trouble. He met two guys who had dreams and didn't have interpretation of their dreams. He helped them with interpretation of their dreams. One of them was hanged, the other was freed. He came out of prison. Pharaoh also had a dream, and he needed a translation. So guess what? He called here is called networking, dreamers network. It takes a dreamer to see a dreamer. It takes a dreamer to acknowledge a dreamer. And it takes a dreamer to support a dreamer. So here, a dreamer who has been helped by a junior dreamer told the senior dreamer that there's a young dreamer, a junior dreamer, who helped me with interpretation. So may I make known of his existence to you? So Pharaoh said, okay, let's bring this Joe. And when Joe came, he was able to help Pharaoh with his interpretation. And that literally changed the life of Pharaoh, and it changed Joe's life. Your dream will change your life if you hold on to it, if you believe in the dream. Listen, there are some dreams that may be insignificant for those who don't value dreams. But those who understand dreams, those who know that the interpretation of dreams, your dream would not only inspire them, your dream will show them life. Because every dream that you have is not just meant for you. Your dream is to transform lives. Your dream is to better other lives. And your dream is to make others strong. If you are a dreamer, then look at ways to make your dream cause others to live. If you're a true dreamer, dying for your dream is not something that scares you, because dreamers are willing to die for their dreams to make others live. Joseph was able to stand for what he believed because he was a good dreamer. He was able to help Pharaoh with his dreams. And when Pharaoh got the interpretation of the dream, not only was his life changed, Joseph the dreamer was completely changed. I am grateful that I'm still holding on to the dreams that I had from childhood. These dreams that I'm holding on to gets me up every morning. In spite of how I feel and in spite of what is happening in the world, I'm still holding on to this dream. I may see the fulfillment of all the dreams. I may see one or two fulfilled, but it makes no difference. What this dream does is it gives me hope to get up every morning. It gives me hope to fight through every obstacle. It gives me hope to know that whatever is happening is temporal around me. It gives me hope to look forward for a better future. Your dream will preserve you. Your dream will strengthen you. And your dream will benefit people around you and literally change lives. Ultimately, if your dream is put in the right place, not only will lives be uplifted, not only will lives be changed, but it will be positional. It will position those around you, those you love, and those you care for, and give them a better future. This is exactly what happened to Joseph. And if you read what happened in Genesis, the account, it's quite interesting. Joseph's life, or Joe's life, was so transformed. Imagine the difficulties he went through. He was only 17 years old when his dreams got him into trouble. So for 13 years, he was struggling, but he held on to his dream. The fact that you have dreams doesn't mean you're not going to go through hard times. Every dream that doesn't go through the process of testing is not a true dream. Every dream that does not attract haters is not a true dream. And every dream that will not make you feel like quitting It's not a dream. Every dream will push you to the brink. Every dream will challenge you. And every dream will cause you to even wonder and at times even doubt your ability of fulfillment, of fulfilling. Every dream will take you further because dream travels. Dreams are meant to travel into the future. And if you have a dream and you hold on to the dream, it won't take long. This dream will position you and position people around you, including the very people who don't acknowledge or who didn't acknowledge, who didn't appreciate, who made fun and mockery of you, and those who counted you out. Dreamers, take courage. Your dream will exonerate you. Dreamer, take hope and confidence in God. Your dream will not bring shame. In the end, your dream will position you right. Take hope in this word. I am so impressed that this Joe in the Bible called Joseph, a millennial, after 13 years of struggle, at the age of 30, he has never done this before. But guess what? His dream positioned him to the highest office in Egypt. And Pharaoh made an assessment of this young man who was a dreamer. He said, can we find a young man as this, in whom the Spirit of God is? When you are a dreamer, remember this. There's a spirit that causes you to dream, because dreams come from spirit. It can be Spirit of God. So keep holding on to that dream. If God gives you a dream, it's the Spirit of God that positioned that dream in your heart. And if you are able to live through it, and you go through the process, you go through the meal, you go through the opposition, you go through the difficulties, you go through the rejections, you go through near brink of failure, let me tell you, in the end, things will turn around, and this dream will set you in a good position. And those who did not recognize it shall take courage in you, shall take peace from you, and shall be blessed by you. Through you, by you, and from you, many shall come to a place of safety. Keep dreaming. Joseph was positioned in a prime role. The kingdom of Pharaoh was subject to his leadership. He was trusted. And the beautiful part of it all was that eventually the place where he lived with his brethren, 13 years later, famine hit that place so hard. They had to look for food. In fact, their lives were about to be destroyed. And they heard that something had happened in Egypt. And guess what? The brother was out there waiting for them. When he saw the sheaf and he saw the sun and the moon, he was not saying they were coming to work for him, but he was being prepared as a dreamer to stand erect, tall, so that when they will come broken. Dreamers stand tall. Those who rejected your dream, they are broken. They will find you, and you'll be the one to help them. Don't let your dream die. Hold on to the dream in the midst of this virus. Hold on to the dream in the midst of this hard time. Your dream will set you up for greater blessing. Thank you very much for joining our streaming. We hope you will continue regularly. We have positive, inspiring messages designed specially for you. Our goal and our vision is to help you to become all that God wants you to be. And also in your Christian walk, you will be successful. We want you to continue also to support Life International on a regular basis. Go to lifeinternational.us give. And I pray for your commitment. God bless you for giving.